If you are thinking of doing a create a club career mode in FIFA 23, then this video is perfect for you as I show you 16 of the best create a club ideas you can do. San Marino has the smallest population of any UEFA national team with 34,000 people and is also the lowest ranked country in the FIFA World Rankings. They are one of the smallest countries in the world and you can try to recreate the national team, or more like a football club for San Marino in FIFA 23. The best thing about Create a Club this year is that you can actually edit your players. You can now change their name, position, nationality, age, height, rating and even their stats. This means that if you want to create a football team for San Marino in FIFA 23 career mode, that you can now give the players in Create a Club the actual names of the San Marino national football team players. Unfortunately, you can't change your players' faces, but being able to change everything else is in my opinion the best new feature in FIFA 23. So I would recommend to put San Marino FC in the Serie B, as this country lays in the middle of Italy. There are no San Marino players in FIFA, which makes it a lot more difficult to keep the save very realistic, as you of course also want to sign a few players. I would recommend to mostly sign Italian players and just imagine they have some sort of older family member who was born in San Marino or something like that. You can of course also sign players with a different nationality, but because San Marino is such a small country, I would recommend to select a 1 million transfer budget and try to slowly build up San Marino FC to take over Italy and perhaps even the world. If you don't know #United already, this is a semi-professional football club in England who has a huge fan base online. With the ability to edit your players' names, ages, nationalities and much more, you can recreate these players in FIFA and put the club in League 2. Having selected the lowest transfer budget of 1 million again, you will have to take #United to the Premier League. A fun fact is that a former #United player used to be in FIFA named Scott Pollock. Unfortunately, he now plays for a non-league club and he isn't in FIFA anymore. In terms of recommended transfers, they would mainly be English players who also play in lower English divisions, and when you are a few seasons into the career mode, you can also try and sign some former Premier League players and get them to play for #United. The owner of Spencer Owen, who is also a YouTuber, also got former footballer Akin Fenwad to play for the club, and there is a high chance that Ben Foster, who was a regular Premier League goalkeeper, will play for the club too. Everyone knows about AS Monaco and how they have dominated France at certain points in their club history. They won Ligue 1 8 times, with the latest win in the 2016-17 season. So what if there is another Monaco team, with its main goal being to take down AS Monaco? Of course, Monaco is another microstate, just like San Marino, and therefore there are no players in FIFA who have the Monaco nationality. But there is still a great challenge to try and make Monaco FC the biggest football club from Monaco. And as Monaco itself is known for being a very luxurious place, you can give Monaco FC a big transfer budget from the start, or you can go the complete other way and give yourself a 1 million transfer budget and really go from rags to riches in this create a club idea. I would also recommend to put Monaco FC in the second French division, which unfortunately doesn't give you the option to actually select AS Monaco as your biggest rival, but you can also select the second football team from Paris in Paris FC. One of the craziest stories in this year's European competitions is the one from FC Vaduz. The club is originally from Liechtenstein and is another microstate, but as they are too small of a country to actually start a full football league, FC Vaduz has to play in the Swiss competitions. And they were actually relegated from the first division in the 2020-21 season, but somehow still play in the UEFA Conference League. Each season the few football teams from Liechtenstein still have to play against each other for the national cup, which results in FC Vaduz easily winning every match with very big scores. The winner of this national cup, which is always FC Vaduz, is qualified for the first qualifying round of the Conference League, and this was the same for the Europa League a few years ago when the Conference League didn't exist yet. And despite getting into the first qualifying round for the Europa and Conference League every year, this year was the first time FC Vaduz actually qualified for a European competition. And of course this is also the first time a club from Liechtenstein qualified for a European competition as well. Liechtenstein is located between Austria and Switzerland, and I would recommend to put FC Vaduz in the Swiss league of course, as they also play in the Swiss divisions in real life. Of course the second Swiss division isn't in the game, so you will have to put Vaduz in the first division. In terms of recommended transfers, I would have to suggest Marcel Buchel, as he is the only player in FIFA 23 who has the Liechtenstein nationality. He is 70 rated, 31 years old and plays for Serie B side Ascoli. He is valued at 1.1 million euros, so if you want to sign him from the start, then you should give yourself a bit of a bigger transfer budget to be able to buy him. Furthermore, you should actually change the nationality of your create a club players to Liechtenstein. Vaduz's current squad also has a lot of Swiss players and even a few Kosovan, French, Serbian, Austrian, German and even Nigerian players. Red Bull have been owning football clubs for a few years now, including RB Salzburg and RB Leipzig. So what if there is another Red Bull team? You can pick literally any big city from any country and for example call it Red Bull Manchester. If you pick an English city, I would recommend you to start in League 2. If you pick a city from another country, then I would also suggest you to start in the lowest division possible. I would recommend to start with a decent transfer budget, as Red Bull of course has a lot of money in real life as well, but don't spend it all in the first 3 seasons. Make smart signings by signing young, lower rated players for very cheap and develop them into great players. It's up to you how your kids look like and how high rated your players are. Although I would recommend to not make it too easy for yourself. Revival City is the ultimate football club for players who used to have a high potential in FIFA but never really managed to reach that rating. The starting squad isn't very relevant and I would advise you to give yourself a big transfer budget to sign an entire new squad of failed talents. It's up to you whether you want to sign the highest rated failed talents from the get-go and start in the Premier League for example, or sign a fewer lower rated players and start in a championship. I have done a video in FIFA 22 already showing you a bunch of failed wonder kids, but if you want me to do an updated video for FIFA 23 then let me know in the comments. Ajax Cape Town, or Cape Town Spurs FC as it is now called, used to be a satellite club for Ajax in the Netherlands. The club still exists, although they don't really work together with Ajax anymore. In FIFA 23 you can try to revive this partnership with Ajax by creating Ajax Cape Town. The club is originally a team from South Africa and unfortunately there isn't an African league in the game. You can however put them in either the 2nd Spanish division or the 2nd French division, whatever suits you the most. Of course you will have to change your players to have a South African nationality, and you can also use a South African name generator to give your players more realistic names. Signing real South African players will make this career mode a lot more fun, and another rule to add is that you can sign lower rated talents from Ajax who aren't in the starting 11 and that you have to sell every one of your players if you receive an offer from Ajax. Asante Kotoko is probably the biggest Ghanaian team. They have won the domestic league 24 times and have won the African Champions League twice. They were also given the honor of being the African Club of the Century by the International Federation of Football History and Statistics. Of course Ghana is now a new national team in FIFA 23 and so you can combine these two in a Create a Club career mode. Make sure your players all have the Ghana nationality and give them more realistic names as well. So I once again recommend you to start in the 2nd Spanish division or the 2nd French division. And make sure you become the manager of the national team of Ghana to help them get to the World Cup and maybe even win one. A combination of club and country with a very unique country makes up for a very fun career mode idea. Not only Ghana is a new national team you can manage in career mode, but Morocco is as well. You can combine managing the Moroccan national team with managing Wydad Casablanca, or Wydad AC as they are also called. They are the best Moroccan football team in their country. They are one of 3 teams that have never been relegated to the 2nd division and they have won the Moroccan League 22 times. They also won the African Champions League 3 times. Once again you will have to give your players more realistic names and change their nationalities to make it a bit more realistic as well. Be sure to manage the Moroccan national team when you receive an offer from them and take the Moroccan players you have been using at Wydad Casablanca to the World Cup. And just like with Asante Kotoko, I would recommend to start in a 2nd Spanish or French division. And another rule you can add is to create Hashim Mastour, who used to be a big talent from AC Milan. He currently plays in Morocco but for 2nd division side Renaissance Zermamga. It might be fun to recreate him and turn him into a very good player as he was always expected to be. And the last team from these 3 new national teams is Al-Duhail, which is the biggest football club in Qatar. Putting some political issues aside, you can actually put Al-Duhail in a Saudi Arabian league. Another option is to put them in the Indian or the Chinese leagues. Al-Duhail has won the domestic league 7 times, with the first one being in the 2010-11 season. You might have heard of the club already because they used to have Toby Alderweireld, Mario Mandzukic and former North Korean wonderkid Han Kwang-song in their squad. They currently still have Portuguese centre-back Ruben Semedo in their side, and you should change your players' nationality to Qatar to make it more realistic. Make sure you accept the offer to manage the Qatar national team and your career mode save, and try to surprise everyone by getting far with the Qataris national side. If you follow a few English YouTube channels, then you almost certainly know about the Sidemen. This is a friends group with a huge online fanbase, and the channels grew at first by almost every member doing FIFA or football videos. They have also organized a few football charity matches, with this year's being the most spectacular. Having the option to change your creator club players' names means you can remake your favorite YouTubers who either played in this year's charity match or who just missed out. Unfortunately, you can't change the faces of your players though. As the Sidemen are an English-based channel, I would recommend to put them in League 2 and make their ratings relatively low. If you want to match the Sidemen's real ages, then there won't be much room for them to grow. But you can also make their ages a lot lower and turn some of your favorite YouTubers into great players. Star Belgrade is the most successful football club in Serbia, having won 33 domestic league titles and 26 national cups. They share a big rivalry with Partizan Belgrade, but unfortunately they are both not in FIFA 23. You can choose either team for this create a club idea and start your career mode in the Romanian league, which is the closest country to Serbia, who has their full league in the game. Or you can also put them in a more competitive league like the Bundesliga. Most of the current Star Belgrade players come from Serbia, whilst a lot of other players have an African nationality. A fun combination to search for new signings, as there are a lot of Serbian and African real players in the game. I would give yourself a decent transfer budget and to try and qualify for a European place in the first season in the Bundesliga. Another fun creative club idea is to start a new team in a European competition and only buy players from a different league. You can, for example, start in the Premier League and give yourself a big transfer budget from the get-go. Then you can revamp your starting team and only sign players who currently play in the MLS. Each season in the career mode there will be new players who joined several MLS clubs, which makes you able to sign these players as well. But be aware, if these players leave the MLS and you haven't signed them yet, then you are not able to buy them for your team. And you can also do this idea with the Argentinian league and only sign players from that league, for example. And with them you can start in the Spanish La Liga division, for example, or you can try the Swedish league, for example, and put them in the first or second Bundesliga. A lot of options for this unique creator club idea. Catalonia is a region in Spain where teams like FC Barcelona, Espanyol and Girona come from. There have been political issues between the region and Spain for years now, with the main topic being about how Catalonia should be seen as a new country. So what if you create an entire club from this region where you can only sign players who come from the Catalonia region? If you search on Google, then you can find plenty of lists with current Catalonian football players who are in FIFA 23 as well. Players like Gerard Deulofeu, Gerard Piqué, Oriol Romeu, Oscar Mingueza, Marc Cucurella and Cesc Fabregas are a few players from these lists. You can use the youth academy to sign Spanish talents, but unfortunately you will just have to pretend that they come from the Catalonia region, as players can't have this nationality in the game. I would give yourself a good transfer budget to start with to get a nice base squad which leaves room for improvement, and build your way up in La Liga to try and take over Spanish football and make Catalonia FC a big football club. A similar idea to this is to start a club and only have players who were born in a specific capital or a big city in a bigger country. Examples are London FC, Manchester FC, Madrid FC, Munich FC, Berlin FC, Milan FC and even Paris FC, just to name a few. Once again, there are plenty of lists online that will give you suggestions of players who were born in your chosen capital or big city, which will help you throughout this career mode. I would suggest you to not start and sign the best players from each capital or big city immediately, but leave out some players who you can try and sign a few seasons later. It's also up to you whether you want to start in the highest division of the country or start in a lower division. Depending on these choices, pick your desired transfer budget, but don't make it too easy for yourself. Similar to the MLS All-Stars idea, you can do the same by picking one nationality and only sign players who have this nationality. I would recommend to pick one that also has their national team in the game, so you can manage both your club and the country you chose at the same time. And eventually you can take your players and your chosen country to the World Cup. I would recommend to not pick a country like France, Spain or England, but a nationality who have a few lower rated players like Denmark, the USA or Scotland. You can put your created club in a league from your country or make it a bit more challenging and put them in one of the top 5 leagues. If regions appear later down the line in your career mode save who also have the same nationality as the one you chose, then you can of course use them as well. Once again, it's up to you if you want to start off by buying the best players from your chosen country or start with lower rated players. This will also determine how big your transfer budget will be. So which creator club idea will you do in FIFA 23 career mode? Let me know in the comments, and if you find this video helpful, then be sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel to help me get to 20,000 subscribers, and I will see you at the next video.